Have any of y'all read the Marvel Max Punisher series?
Mm-hmm. That Garth Ennis did.
Yeah, Punisher wouldn't say nothing,
I
but he
heard
killed
about it.
Micro. He killed Micro, and a
He
girl's
killed
pussy got
Micro?
wet.
Damn.
Yeah, girl's pussy got wet because she heard him. He thought she thought he heard him say something. I'm like, yo, this shit is wild. Then he just killed
You
Micro
always
without
pick
saying
up
no
on the
word.
worst parts of a comic book. How is that?
He
How's
picks
that
up
the
on the
worst
worst
part?
parts of life. What are you talking about?
Okay, you ready to get ready to kick this shit off?
Ho, 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 motherfuckers.
Yeah, ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Oh, yeah, this is the Christmas episode, huh? Maybe?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is,
It
yo.
is.
So everybody out there, welcome to the Motherfucking Abyss Podcast, episode 100 and motherfucking 73. You know what I'm saying? Merry Christmas to all you motherfuckers. You don't celebrate that shit, happy day. Yeah, and I hope you off work, and I hope you got time and a half to work. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. Before we get this, show our guest some love right here. Carl, how you doing?
I'm great. Rocking the black strap hoodies designed by Odd Mod Works, of course.
Hell yeah, yo. Word. Black strap. People Jab, how are you?
I'm Gucci, my man.
What you got on?
Gucci, man.
You got on Frico Rico?
Yeah, man. I'm repping this Frico Rico piece that he did about the Kendrick GNX album. You know, Frico do his thing. It was just his birthday, man. Happy birthday to a nigga named Richard, man. You know, Frico Rico.
A good dude.
That's that dude.
It's crazy, yo.
Got a rep for him. Always.
Got to, man. Hey, yo, boom. And we have Chong Wizard in the building, yo.
That's right.
DJ
Welcome.
Chong Wizard in the
How
building,
y'all doing?
Great, man. You stayed in Cali.
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns.
That's your hard pause. You know what I'm saying? You got the Carhartt joint on, huh? Yeah, I got my Carhartt joint underneath there. You can't see it. I got my big ghost. I got my big ghost
hockey jersey just flying into my face. I see how it is.
Real tough.
Pause, yo. Shout out to all our Canadian brothers, man. Like, boom, you from Vancouver, right?
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Canada up there. There, boom. Like, I like to say this. I always say this. Canadians was holding it down. When we first started this wave, you were part of that wave that was holding it the fuck down when we didn't know what the fuck we was doing in America. We didn't know who to listen to, what to do. Rapping on trap beats.
That, Lukey.
We did it. There wasn't a large contingency of us because my comment was still...
Say that certain people didn't, or that there was a general trend, but don't make it seem like motherfuckers was living in the Stone Age.
Over trap beats. My Kami was rapping over trap beats.
That's my Kami. There were other people.
Spesh was rapping over. Spesh and Benny were rapping over. Rapping over trap beats.
There's other people that were doing shit, man. Stop taking away.
They were.
Shout out the Canadian wave, though. Y'all was definitely keeping it solid and solidified. I'm not trying to take away from that.
But this is what I'm saying.
Hey, don't mind us, Chong Wizard. This is just a personal beef. Don't worry about that.
But I think the reason why this whole area came together and had this wave of good music because y'all was holding it down and we followed suit. Do you kind of agree?
Yeah, I mean, technically, I'm American and Canadian, but I've been living in Canada forever. So, no, I was on it early, and I was really just like, pushing it. You know what I mean? Like trying to celebrate everybody. Like when I did that Infinity Stone series, I was put a showcase on this whole new underground wave. And at the time, it was really unfolding. Like at that 2017, 2018, just so many cats that were even new to me. And I was like, man, there's just so much new talent out here, or just people hadn't heard of them. So I was giving them a platform with the Infinity Stones and kind of a theme and a project. And I also had done the that Star Wars mixtape before that, which featured a lot of the guys that kind of blew up, right? So, I mean, between the Infinity Stones and the Star Wars thing, it was a real showcase of new talent. And there was definitely cats in Canada doing it too, for sure, man. But I mean, majority of the cats were in the States. It's just I'm always early. People don't know this, but I'm always like 2 years ahead. So when motherfuckers finally blow up, it's like, yeah, I was on that 2 years ago, and it's just like that's just how it is. Like I think that's from being a DJ all these years
and breaking records
and just knowing, having that ear. Like I also did a lot of hip hop journalism back in the day, so like. I got ear for talent. I got ear for samples with the production. You know what I mean? You got those ears, right? So
you're a Doom fan, so automatically you're knowledgeable enough for me, my friend.
Oh yeah, big Doom fan.
True indeed, true indeed. And yeah, 99 when I got the duel, man. But I see that. I mean, you had to be because like all these comic references, the Affinity shit. You know what I'm saying? I know you're not really a big Star Wars dude, but I don't. Yeah.
Doom and Ghostface. I mean, they were totally.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are like the fathers or grandfathers of what we're all doing now. You know what I mean? Like, definitely the comic books, they were the first to kind of like make it a thing in hip hop. And it makes sense, though, you know, like the aliases, the secret identities and shit, and like the characters and just the storytelling of like the music and the art, you know. So I feel like there's just that connection between comic books and hip hop for sure. And Salute to Doom and Ghostface, huge influences on me.
Nice. True indeed. So you've been how long was you in Cali? Oh, you was born
in Cali. My dad lived in Cali, and so I'd always go down like and visit him like back in the day when we were kids. You know, our parents divorced and dad in Cali, mom in Canada, so it was kind of like back and forth for me. And after I graduated high school, I went down to Cali and I lived there from 99 until 2001, and I was just like super into the underground hip hop scene there at the time, like the Living Legends and Freestyle Fellowship, and just
you were in the Bay.
No, I was in Bakersfield, which is like kind of in between Central California, so it's north of LA.
Like map on GTA.
Yeah, I could get down there to LA. I could go up to it was a bit of a trip to go to the Bay, but I went up there once in a while. But man, it was such a good time, like being down there and just being exposed to everything of that movement. It just seems like so long ago, that underground movement, but it's cool that, you know, it's how it goes in hip hop. There's different movements that happen throughout the history of it, right? So it's cool to experience that one.
So indeed, I mean, it's a weird, great time for hip hop right now. Yeah. It's like the transition into the new technology. I remember I guess changing over from analog to digital. That was big, and all the beats sucked. Yeah,
man. Technology, that is the thing, right? Where it's made it so easy for people to just knock out album after album because they got the home studios. You don't got to pay for studio.
Absolutely.
You don't got to worry about a record label. You just release it like digitally or press it yourself. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a new era of just that independent grind where major labels don't really matter that much anymore. Like, I know some of these artists want to avoid the major labels and shit. Like, my homeboy was telling me that Benny is fucking can't release shit because he's fucking signed to a major deal, so he has to do all these kind of like things with Spesh that aren't like Benny's solo albums. And so there's definitely like that thing where a lot of cats are just like, fuck it, like I want to drop albums. I don't want to get locked into one of these major label deals where I can't just flood the streets, right? So
telling you when you can drop, what you have to drop. Yeah, absolutely.
I think West kind of got
model anymore.
Yeah, I think West got it figured out, kinda, because you go to the record label and he'll be like, "Hey, I got this artist. Give me $200,000." So give the artist like $90,000 or whatever, and keep some of it for himself, and then we make all the money, and like and then they'll go asking like he got money for Amani Caesar, he got all this money, Rome Streets, Pray for Haiti, he got all this money, broke himself off. Like I figured out the science behind that. Like that, he's really changed the game for. I guess
that goes back in the day when guys would blow up and they'd get their own little imprint at the major label.
Exactly.
Like, with Dipset, like Cam'ron, he was pushing all those guys on us because he was getting a major piece of all of them, right? So that's how it is, right? So
Purple Army, what is it? Purple Ribbon All Stars,
Purple City, the Dipset, like so many.
Mafia, J.R. Ryder, 40 Cal. All of them, they definitely.
It is what it is too. Those artists aren't even mad because they wouldn't have been able to get put on into that deal without the Cam'rons or without the West Side Guns or without the 50 Cent or whoever, right? You know what I mean? Without the Jay-Z's. So
a lot of it is it's like from the surface level, it might seem like kind of predatory, but it's more so like I'm giving you access to this opportunity. What you gonna do with it? So. Sure. Especially like, I think you just touched on a great point. Cam'ron and the Dipset run was a great example of him kind of putting his people in position, but then they all took it and ran with it on their own. J.R. Ryder specifically, was dropping mixtapes constantly and was getting paid off of that. Jewel's fumbled it. He put out a major label release and that didn't do anything. Cam still got his money, so that didn't matter. Jim Jones had his own thing going. He was running, he was eating. He took the same plan, did it with his Bird Gang team. But yeah, everybody, they figured out, they're like, yeah, I can get this money. I can do a major album, but in between major albums, I got to run these mixtapes up. Like you said, 50, he had Tony Yayo out there going crazy for a minute. And Lloyd Banks too. Yeah, but it wasn't about Tony Yayo's major album. Like, I mean, Tony Mayo, the Predicate Felon, that was only okay.
Say it again. Yeah. Say it again.
A lot of the mixtape guys, their albums sucked, but the mixtapes were fire.
It wasn't about the main album. It was all about like Lloyd Banks's album was dope.
Yeah, it was.
The first Lloyd Banks album definitely was dope, and his mixtapes were kind of only okay until the latest Halloween Havocs, because they've been super crazy. But I say all that to say, yeah, man, it's like, really, once you get that little 90,000 advance or whatever the case is, it's what are you going to do with it? Are you going to make yourself hot? Are you going to keep on spitting and keep the interest on yourself so that you can go out and do tours and open for people and get features and charge people, et cetera, et cetera? I can let you in the door. I can't feed you once you in here. You got to feed yourself.
Yeah, wrong streets.
That's it.
But Chong has found a new way. Whenever all these the Infinity Stone series came out, like boom, like,
oh man,
why weren't you using your own production for these?
At the time, I was actually quite rusty with the production because I had I took a long break. Like, I really was like, I started making beats probably like 99, 2000 era, and I started getting good by about like, in between that era of like 2001, 2004, I was starting to get pretty good. And then the mixtape game just took over, and I got so hyper-focused on doing mixtapes that I'd do some remixes here and there for the mixtapes with my own production, but I wasn't like making beats like all the time. And then when the mixtape game died around like 2011, it was just dead by then. And I took some time off from just like doing it, like releasing anything. Like 2011 to like 2017, wasn't really doing too much. And when I came back, I was just more on the like executive producer tip of just like putting everybody
together,
putting shit together and be like, yeah, you do this, and kind of just being the coach, right? And when I put that out, like, I was just getting that itch. I was like, because I think a lot of people, there were some people talking shit like, oh, you're just a DJ Khaled type, you know what I mean? And I was just like,
okay. Really?
Fuck out of here. Like, I can do this. And it took a little while, actually, just me to like shake off the rust. But once I did, I'm feeling really confident about my production right now. I'm loving what I'm doing. So It's good. I wish, like, retroactively, I go back and I think about, like, what if I had produced all those? It might have been, a different story. But also, I think that project was really about showcasing everybody, the producers, the MCs, putting unique combinations together and different styles.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, if it was just me, it might have like not been as versatile. Who knows?
True indeed.
Hey man, just while we talking about it, like first and foremost, I just want to give you supreme props for the whole Infinity Gem series, the Infinity Stone series. Just like you said earlier, and Lukey, you kind of you alluded a little bit to it, but during that era, that 2017, 2016, when Griselda was on their rise, like that, I guess that period was a great example of kind of like a cowboy era. And you were right there at the forefront of it with the vinyl releases, like the vinyl scarcity.
Merch.
And the merch and things being unique, like the fact that people were waiting for those 6 covers to come out, the 6 different editions of it, like, man, that was just so dope to me. Like, I feel like you said, I mean, you definitely had an ear to a lot of the people that are thriving right now, early, not early, but, SDNAC popping up in the mix, Juco in the mix, a lot of different names. We could go down list of names. And you were right there.
First Rome Street's vinyl appearance was on the Power Stone, the first one. He hadn't been on. He'd had stuff out, but he hadn't been on a vinyl release at that point. A lot of those guys' first vinyl like appearances were on that Infinity Stones, and I got to give a shout out to my bro Jordan C. He's if you guys might be familiar with him, but he's a hip hop journalist and publicist, and he's just a head from back in the day that I've always worked with up here. And he put me onto a lot of cats that were on the series. He was like co-executive producer. He put me on to a lot of the cats. So shout out to him. He was the one who was all behind Big Turks. He was the one who came up with the concept and put the guys together and made that happen. So
Jordan C. He had something to do with Air Vinyls.
Yeah, he was working for Air Vinyls. Yeah,
that's all. I don't want to talk no more about that. Yeah. Yeah. No more about.
I don't know.
Yeah, no more. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know what happened with Air Vinyls. I had nothing to talk about. I had nothing to do with Air Vinyls.
So but those records exist. Those records do exist because Spesh had those records at his shows to sell. So yeah, but yeah, Jordan C. Yeah, Jordan. I'm very familiar with Jordan C. Yo, I didn't know he did the Big Turks. Yeah. Lord Juco. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope, man. I know he said he did a lot.
Salute to Lord Juco. I saw you guys just interviewed him, man.
So that's crazy that we have this right. This the next stuff. Yeah,
we did East Coast Canada. Now we went to the West Side. You know, I mean, I kind of put things together with a plan in my mind. You know, I'm hanging out in Canada right now. You know what I mean? I want to talk about Canadians. Let's talk about Vancouver. Let's talk about the underground in Vancouver.
That shit sold out.
No, matter of fact, can I tell y'all a story about Vancouver?
Sure.
So I was up in Vancouver this last summer, actually, just in May.
Was I.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Well,
for my sister's wedding.
You.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I missed you. I mean, yeah. I did just miss you. We talked about that. But yeah, man. So I was out, me and my wife and my son. We were out walking around, and I told Words. Shout out at Words. I told Words I was walking around in Vancouver near the bay. And he's like, "Oh man, you better watch out doing that." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Man, don't you know those fiends out there that run up on you with a needle and try to rob you with a dirty needle?" I was like, "Say word." He's like, "Yeah, it's grimy out there." Sure enough, my brother and his wife were walking around and they were like, "Oh yeah, it was smutty where we walked up the street." I was like, "Oh man, I didn't see any of that. It was quite beautiful where I was at." Shout out Vancouver.
Man, Vancouver, there's mad junkies for sure. Like in certain areas, even
every
like
city.
Even out where I live, man, there's my building just surrounded by junkies. But they're like
Vancouver's
I've never heard of any of that. Like junkies robbing anybody. Everyone's just nodded off out here, man.
Stuffed out.
Someone trying to scare you because I've never heard of that.
Yeah, shit, I was already home. It didn't scare me. I was laughing about it.
Word, the graffiti artist?
No, Word's the MC. He's from Toronto.
I think he's out in Calgary at the moment.
Okay. Yeah.
There was a cat out here, a graffiti head. I think he also MC'd and produced Word, just Word. There was no S at the end, but
yeah, his name is Words, Joe.
This man is the Invincible Words. If you're looking for him on IG, he just put out the Al Bundy mixtape, the Polk High joint. 4 touchdowns in one game.
Yeah. Weapon X. It's all with bars and BS. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I want to double back real quick. The Big Turks is Jamal Gasol, Lord Juco, and Rome Streets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So,
that's a great matchup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't think they're gonna have anything else come out. That'd be dope if they came.
That was a one-time little
one shot project.
Yeah. The thing was, that one was Jordan had put that all together before any of them had blown up, and by the time it was like mixed, mastered, and released, like Rome was already like blowing up, and it was just like people, things change quickly in this shit. You start getting success, just you move on, right? So, mad love for Rome Streets. He's doing his thing. He doesn't need to do the Big Turks thing. Big Turk things it's one of those things where why hip hop group projects don't really exist anymore. Because there's too many pieces of the pie to go around. You know what I mean? Like, there's mostly just solos or duos or like one producer, one MCs, because not enough bread to be chopped up between like 3 MCs plus a producer. You know what I mean? And a label. You know what I mean? So it's
it's economics. That makes sense. I mean, again, man, I don't want to dwell too much on it, but I really would just want to know, like, what possessed you though to come up with the Infinity Stones, Joy. I mean, I'm a big Marvel head, man. So that, like, again, seeing that the resurrection, the Renaissance that was happening during that time, my eye was immediately drawn to these bugged out covers.
Album covers,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And then seeing that it was called the Infinity Stone, and then hearing all these dope MCs on them. Not only that, these legacy MCs like Mocha Only, all these type of people. I'm like, oh shit, what's this all about? What led you down that lane, man?
Shout out to Mocha. He wasn't on there, but he was on a project I did a long time ago. But yeah, man, it was, I love comic books back in the day.
It was Mike and Nine, my bad.
Mike and Nine. Back in the day, my biggest mixtape was called American Iron Man, and it was Jay-Z versus
Jay-Z and Ghostface.
And fans had always hassled me like, you need to do more comic book shit. That was the best. That was the best shit you ever did, and it really put me on the map. And so I always wanted to do another comic book based shit. And I had around that time, around 2015, 2016, I had actually started getting back into comic books, just reading them like crazy. And the Marvel movies were popping off, and I was a big fan of watching those. And so I don't know where I came up with the idea, but I put it together in my head of just like, that way you can have a series of the 6 volumes, the 6 stones. And, like, I got an eye for talent, not only the ear for talent, but the eye for talent with artists. I was trying to pick some artists that nobody else has used in hip hop.
Yeah, exactly.
Have the unique look, and I found that guy on IG, and I was just like, man, this guy's perfect for it. I want some just wild, bugged out, fucking insane versions of superheroes and shit, and like some acid trip shit. I wanted it to be the trippiest, craziest project featuring cats you never heard of doing just wild shit. So, like,
who was the artist?
Like, his name was Rob Israel.
Rob Israel, okay.
And he has that style like down pat. That's his like, almost like monsterification of shit. Like, he'll just turn anything super monster style. So,
no, is he still around?
I think he's still around, but after that, like, it was just one of those things where it's like, all right, I used you for 6 covers, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like,
of course,
because I didn't want to milk him. You know what I mean? Where it was like, and he became boss.
Good job.
That's a good one.
It was way too because I just realized what milking was like. I was like,
I don't want to use his fucking art over and over again because it gets played out. Like, I get tired of seeing people use the same cover artists all the time. So
indeed,
and he also, I mean, no disrespect,
got a really unique style though.
He kept raising the prices on me as we went on that one because, like, he knew
what you were doing.
He saw the popularity of it, how successful it was. And he knew that I wanted to keep it uniformed. So it was my bad for not like negotiating a set price from the beginning, but it also kind of left a foul taste in my mouth where I'm like, fuck that. Like, I'm not going to like go back to you because of that. You know what I mean? Like, you changing the price up on me. Like, okay, like after these covers, done with you. You know what I mean? So.
Oh man, my bad.
It's business, but like and it's like, all right, I'll do business somewhere else, right? So
Well, okay, hold on. I got one more question. Let me
go. With Primo Jab. I wouldn't looked at him. He ain't bubbling no more, so he kind of fucked up his blessing a little bit.
Oh, that was what I was gonna say. Yeah, that was what I was gonna say.
He got kind of obsessed with like conspiracy theories and politics and shit, and was just going super hard on the posts.
Oh,
right, like, all right.
Well, yeah, that is what it is.
It's
whatever. The last thing I want to know is, out of the whole series of the 6, what was your favorite one, your personal favorite one? And then what was the most critically acclaimed of them all?
I think my favorite was the first one just because how it set it off. It was really just, it set it off with such a like people just weren't expecting it, and it just
was that the Mind Stone. Which one was the first one?
That was the Power Stone, the
Power
one
Stone
with the Black Panther cover, purple and
shit,
you know what I mean. So that one set it off. It was crazy. There was a lot of crazy collabos on there.
Is that the one that had Fly Anakin, Fly Lord, and Lord Juco on it?
That was Space Stone.
That's right. That's right.
Stone was the one that had Ankle John, Chris Crack, Vic Spencer, and then there was there was Lord Juco and Rome Streets, and nobody knew who they were at the time. And
water up on there.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen joint with like the 5 best dudes from the UK, which was just, it came off like a real cool concept joint.
That's dope.
All right.
The critically acclaimed one, I mean, it was probably the Reality Stone, which followed it, which was crazy. It had the Husk Kingpin Smooth joint.
Okay.
Estee-Nack.
Was that the Spider-Man cover, or was that Iron Man?
That was the Spider-Man one.
Okay.
That one was crazy. Crime Apple was on there. Planet Asia wasn't on that one. But that one was crazy. Just people loved that one. So the first 2 were really just the best. But the funny thing about those ones was like, people didn't know, right? But by the time people had found out about the series, those were sold out. And people just could not find them. Even to this day, those are the ones that are probably the most money, like, is just the rare ones. So,
yeah.
No,
they're all rare because there were 100 copies of each. So they're all.
See, you the trailblazer of that, again, that scarcity of vinyl artifacts, of musical artifacts, man. You're right there, like, when at the cusp of when that was happening. You're the trailblazer. You're a part of that foundational first run of people actually caring about, oh man, this art is crazy. Oh, there's only X amount of copies. I got to get it. And like you said, by the time people caught on, really started catching on and seeing who was on there and who was getting busy, it was too late. You couldn't go back and get any copies of anything. You can't find shit.
Yeah, this is 2018 though.
Release it on like streaming or anything like that, or nah?
I was early on a lot of things, man. Like the fancy test presses. Like I was the first to do the fancy test presses. Instead of just doing regular Obi strips, I was the first to be like, let's do like creative like Obi strips that like kind of like are part of the art that might not even have like the Japanese text on them. Like it's like it connects to the art type shit. So I was doing a lot of those creative little weird things, like, because I was like, man, like, let's not be boring with this Obi strip shit. Like anybody can do like the basic Japanese text on them. I was like, let's just fucking go wild with it conceptually. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's part of the fun and part of being like, you know, like if I'm going to do some shit, I'm going to try to make it as special as I can. I don't want to just put out some boring shit, you know?
Indeed.
I appreciate you for taking your passion seriously, bro. Like for real. Again, that's why I wanted to talk to you, man. Again, like repping Vancouver, and not only that, but just being in the game and holding shit down. You know, at the start of the Renaissance is very important, man. Your contribution can't be overlooked, and you know, it ain't gonna be overlooked on my watch.
And it's still going, but still, like what Primo Jab said. You would plan on releasing these on streaming?
No. Okay. I wanted to, but
good answer. Okay, no.
The thing is you know, a lot of the guys on them, I just don't have great relationships with anymore, and I don't want to have any issues with them being mad about me like making money off of them, or like, and it's also I don't want to be like it sucks because when you invest all that time and money into those projects, you want those to be something that you could put out there for the rest of your life, like repress and keep fucking putting it out there and having it like on streaming. But it's like the relationships with a lot of those guys where it was like a lot of people were doing free verses at the time because they weren't doing anything else. Nobody was doing shit. You know what I mean? There wasn't a lot of money in it, and people were hungry. They wanted to be a part of shit. And then a few years later go by and people all start blowing up, and then people start having beefs and everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and it's not all connected anymore. And people, you know, they retroactively go back and try to like make shit up or like change the whole story. Like they didn't, you know what I mean? It was like, so it's one of those things where it's like, I just don't even want the hassle of
understandable
with people. And it's just like, the one thing that it also makes it still kind of even more rare that you can only get it on the vinyl, the CDs, or there's digital download. You can buy the digital downloads off my Bandcamp, but it's just not streaming. So
So indeed.
All right, you heard him. Yeah, go to that Bandcamp.
I think you can listen like 2 or 3 times before it don't let you listen.
I might have to change that up so people can actually listen to it. Because I haven't been using Bandcamp lately because I finally got my own website launched, chongwizardrecords.com.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah. No more of them taking 10-15% off me, you know what I mean? And I suggest to all independent artists and labels, if you're grossing over $4,000 a year on Bandcamp, not including Bandcamp Fridays, just get a Shopify website. You're going to save so much money in the long run, especially if you're doing big numbers. And that's gross. That's not profit. That's gross. They're taking their percentage off the gross. You know what I mean? So, you lose out on a lot of money on Bandcamp, and it's no disrespect to Bandcamp. I love them. They're a great platform, but it's almost for really like beginning artists that
trying to grow.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You get to a certain point, you're going to make a lot more money with your own website.
Well, how many releases have you had, bro? We have a ton.
I think like officially, like since I started the label, which was a little after I'd already put out like 43 official on the label, but there was like a handful before that. So probably at least 50 releases plus there's been the second pressings and shit. So.
Yeah, almost all that shit is sold out.
Majority of it,
yeah, like 90%. If you go look in the Bandcamp right now, everything has red underneath it, like Jesus wrote it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, in the Bible. Yeah,
that's what you got to do though, because like it's difficult when you're putting out these niche little artists. You have to do small runs because fan base is small, and like I'd rather it sell out quickly than just get stuck with product, because a lot of times you're stuck with product, you're stuck with it. Like it doesn't matter you drop the price, doesn't matter like what, you know what I mean? You either have to wait for that artist to like blow up years later and hope that people come back and find their own releases, or you're just stuck with a lot of records. So that's
true indeed.
That's the downside of the vinyl game if shit don't sell out.
I mean, I think it's like a sweet spot for like newer artists. Like it's like 50 to 100.
Yeah.
Now, if you do 50 to 100 and their family and friends are good supporters, we winning. If you got 100, I mean, every artist out there, the greatest thing to have as being an artist is having complete strangers support your work. Not your mom or your auntie.
Yeah, you don't want to rely. No, you don't want to rely on friends and family.
Nope, not at all.
So a lot of these people who got into Chong Wizard and the Griseldas and stuff were complete strangers who didn't know. Oh, foreigners. I'm not talking about us as far as USA and Canada. I'm talking about people in Germany and France and stuff.
Denmark.
How did you figure out this shipping shit when you first started? Like, was that tough?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a tough side of it. You start out trying to figure it out, and you figure it out though. But it's a constant progression of like, when I first started, it was like, oh, you're just using like Canada Post, and then you're like, oh shit, this costs a lot. Then you find like there's like different shipping companies that will offer better deals for small businesses, and I have this company that will import my stuff to the U.S. and I can ship through USPS. So it's like that saved me a ton of money. And then there's other things like when I first started doing the shipping labels at home, I was just printing out pieces of paper and then like taping them on the thing. Then you figure out the label printers, and then you keeps getting easier and easier. You get the good boxes, you know what I mean? You figure out how to pack the shit where it's not going to ever get damaged in the mail. You get fucking my new website integrates perfectly with my shipping company's website, and it's just like boom, I click the button, it imports everything. All I got to do is like just do the weight of the packages kind of thing and pick the shipping option instead of like manually having to type in everybody's addresses. So it gets easier the more you do it. And I just shipped fucking like 100 in one weekend, and it was so easy to me. It was like nothing. AJ Suede was like, dude, like you already packed and shipped all those. Like they sold out Friday.
AJ Suede
already shipped on Monday. And he was like, how the fuck? Like, I was like, it's nothing to me now. Like that used to be a fucking hassle shipping 100 products, but now it's just
you get a system down.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, system of a down. I just wanted to say that. I just want to say I'm sorry. That's one of my favorite bands. I'm sorry, yo. Yeah, when I heard Chop Suey, I lost my shit. I just lost my shit. And I saw the black girl that was real fine in the crowd. It's like, yo, that's me. I should be there with that black girl in the crowd, yelling my ass off. I should be right there holding her hand. That's why I said, dead ass. Word. You wanted to. True indeed, yo. Boom. Yeah. Word. Check it out. Let's go to the comic book shit. You know I'm a comic book guy. Being my name being Lukey Cage.
We all are.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and I know you don't really like Star. I like Star Wars over everything because it taught me how to be a man, kind of like Wu-Tang.
I like Star Wars. I do like it. It's just,
yeah, but you Marvel over everything, huh?
I wouldn't say I Marvel over everything because I mean I read mostly like indie comics or just I follow the writers that I like. You know what I mean? Like I'm more into like the mini series right now, like a good creative team on a 6 to 12 issue run. Doesn't matter if it's DC, Marvel, Image Comics, whatever. If it's something,
Dark Horse, yeah,
if it's somebody that I like and I think that like the topic of the book looks good, then that's what I'm going to read. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, Tom King right now is killing it. Ram V. I mean, Hickman in the past was big.
Yeah,
I mean, tons of those cats. Rick Remender, like. There's lots of cats that like I'll just get hooked on their style for a while, you know, read a bunch of their stuff. So,
true.
I mean,
indeed.
I always loved Marvel. I think growing up as a kid, but at a certain point, it was just more about like, hey, who's the fucking best writers? Who's the best artists? Like when they team up. Because problem with Marvel and DC, it's like on their main runs, like their monthly issues, it's like it's a time thing. Like you gotta churn those fucking things out, and so a lot of times they'll have different artists every month because one artist can't do all the art, and the shit just quality is down. So it's like I like the fucking high grade shit, the little like creative team shit where it's like small book, 6-12 issues, fucking concept, you know, like high quality writer, high quality artist. You know what I mean?
I was the same though. Like I always followed Loeb and Sale. Like anything Loeb and Sale did. Okay. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, like the Long Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah, they did some great stuff for DC, but then they did, you know, Yellow Daredevil and a bunch of different stuff. And yeah, you find those pairings that you know it's going to be quality, and it doesn't really. The subject matter can change. Just I want more of that, the storytelling and the art.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, it fucked me up, yo. I remember I got Thunderbolts when Thunderbolts came back out. It was by the time DC was doing the new 52. You know what I'm saying? Dylan, he did Preacher. He inked Preacher.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was oh my God, he did Thunderbolts. So I opened that shit. It looked so whack. I was like, man, what the fuck does this shit look like? It looked like Preacher. I was like, oh. I was so let down, yo. I was so let down. I was like, oh, yeah, but I get it. I definitely understand what you're saying. Oh, another one that I loved was what was it? It was, I forget what it was. It was a Dynamite Vertigo, I guess. It was Django Zorro. Y'all remember that shit?
Mm-hmm. No, I never heard of that.
It was Django and Zorro.
I know Dynamite for sure. They do some of the like movie type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a crossover in Zorro and motherfucking Django had a gun and he shot the light of the candle out. And so Zorro was like, I don't run out of bullets, and he hit the wick of the candle twice with the whip. I was like, oh shit, I don't run out of bullets. Yeah, the whip, take this with you. And he went to go help these village people, these Native Americans. It was a pretty good comic book, but there was a little, they put more thought.
Yeah.
like our genre, our lane puts a lot more thought into I guess NBA Youngboy. Yeah, he's not even in the NBA.
What?
NBA Youngboy,
Lukey.
Yeah,
shut up.
He's not.
Yo, man. All right. So I heard you mention Hickman. Were you into Invincible at all, or no?
Oh,
I had that one. No, I had the Manhattan Projects is my favorite Hickman. East of West was really good.
Okay.
Did some shit called Black Monday Murders, which was pretty crazy. I read a little bit of his X-Men run at the beginning there when he did the House of X and Powers of X.
That was my shit.
And it just,
I love that shit so much.
I wanted to keep following it, but they started doing like a million crossover books, and I was just like, man,
fuck that.
Too much, like way too much. So
yeah, that's I'm a big X fan. That's my lane. And I had such expectations for that run, man. And I feel like, just like you said, that's the problem when you talk about the big machine that is Marvel, that is Disney, if we just being honest, is that it became just a money thing. They took something that was going to be amazing, that House of X, that Powers of X, just that whole Krakoa concept, and they were like, okay, how can we draw this out and make as much money as possible from it, from the excitement of it? Whereas if they had just concentrated it and let Hickman do his thing into like 2-3 books, it just, like you said, maybe do just like 12 issue little maxis of each little thing, they could have developed so many more concepts, and it could have been just so much more dope. Because I feel like it lost so much steam as it started expanding, man. It was sad, man. It actually made me, I don't even want to read comics no more, man.
And like Hickman, that's one thing about Hickman is he's become this like real like world builder, creator, expander, and it's like
world builder.
It's too much because he's got this online thing now where they did this Substack creator owned comic book thing where like you got to have a membership, and it's called like 3 Worlds, 3 Moons or something, and they show you the whole process while they're doing it, and it's like a real interactive thing, but it's like it's super world building, and a lot of that is just, it's exhausting, man. I want a good, concise, contained story that I can just pick up, read, you know what I mean, and be done with it.
Just
I don't
have
need
fun with it.
Fucking a million characters and shit. Everyone's trying to make a Game of Thrones epic these days, and it's like, dude, give me something more contained.
Yeah.
Well, that's what everybody's hoping, is that they have something that can translate into the next property, right? The next viral thing, man. Instead of just writing to have fun, writing to create these, these fun little things anymore.
But why was Marvel so great? Because they used real cities, and they were in Hell's Kitchen, and they were in, Queens.
I thought that shit was real. It was real.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand someone wanting to make a Lord of the Rings and invent hobbits and write a whole language of Elvish, and that's great and all, but it takes so much. It takes so much to get into something like that. Once you're into it, you can write books forever on it because you've got a world created. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to get that crazy with it. Give me really good characters. Give me an anti-hero, or give me a damaged, broken person that's making things happen because they feel they have to.
That's the reason why we connect to Doom, because Doom was the regular supervillain who was talking about hoes and drinking beer and all type of shit. He was a regular guy that was a villain who sent fake dudes to shows. Now let's get this. Like name your 5. Name your top. We doing Doombots. That's just crazy. We gotta do a top 5. I know pretty much you have to do the top 5. I've been still in this top 5 the last 4.
It's still nothing for me, man. It's community property, man.
That's right.
That bitch for the streets.
Top 5, top 5 series of books, comic books. What you got?
Oh yeah,
man?
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, because we got a real one on here. Yeah.
Definitely gonna put that Hickman Manhattan Projects in there. Love that one. I'm gonna go with the Meta Barons. That's by Jodorowsky. He's that crazy dude who was almost gonna do that Dune movie. He was the director for that Holy Mountain movie. That shit's wild.
Oh shit, Holy Mountain. Yeah. You say Holy Mountain, they're crazy.
Shit. What else do I really like? I like the Criminal series by Brubaker and Phillips.
Brubaker, yeah. He's a good writer.
Noir shit that's about to come out. They did a series that's about to come out on Prime soon.
Really? That's dope. They've taken all the shit and
bring it to life.
Amazon got all the money in the world
for that shit. let's go with some Moon Knight, Jeff Lemire Moon Knight run.
Yes.
One.
That one he thought he was Spider-Man and shit. He's going crazy
and
shit.
No, that was the one where he was like in the mental hospital type thing, but then like we would go outside and leave the mental hospital and he was in Egypt, but he was actually in New York, but he was just fucking
hallucinating,
hallucinating and shit. That was really dope.
That's how they themed it off on the Disney,
the show, the
shit.
series. Yeah.
That's That was
they took elements from that, definitely.
They did? Okay.
Yeah.
I really like that Tom King Human Target that just came out like a year ago. That was really good.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It was like
Human Target.
It was super unique. It was crazy.
I think we got one more.
One more. Let's see what we can throw in.
That's always the hardest one.
Someone 100 bullets. 100 bullets.
Oh yeah, I love 100 bullets.
That one's just
great anthology, man. It's a great anthology.
All right,
all those different stories.
I wasn't asked, but I'm gonna throw The Long Halloween, The Yellow Daredevil, Havoc and Wolverine Meltdown, the 4-book series, all done in watercolor. Oh, yeah. I've got a signed copy.
I love that shit, Carl.
Death in the Family.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And shit, it just flew out. I don't know. There's four really good ones at least.
I just reread Long Halloween because it had been like 15 years since I'd read that shit, and it was so good, man.
I like that book so much, man.
It really is. Like I read that. It was Halloween, and I was like at the comic shop, and I saw like a used copy of it. I was like, "Fuck it, let me just grab that," because I read it in so long. So
shout out your favorite comic book shop in Vancouver.
Metropolis Comics, fucking, it's getting closed though. Shout out to my buddy.
Oh
no! He's, like the landlord, I think, is either like raising the rent or changing, or just like kicking everyone out and then like either selling the place or renting it to somebody else. And like he's just been having a hard time ever since, kind of like after the pandemic and then with inflation and shit. It's comic book industry has been tough on
very.
Retailers, and especially in Canada, because like the shipping companies and shit all have been changing shit, and it's just so he's shutting down. I mean, downtown Vancouver has Golden Age Comics, which is pretty dope too, so shout out to them.
Nice.
What up? That's wild, y'all. Have any of y'all read the Marvel Max Punisher series?
That Garth Ennis did?
Yeah, Punisher wouldn't say nothing, but he killed Micro. He killed Micro when a girl's pussy got wet.
Damn.
Yeah, a girl's pussy got wet because she heard him. He thought she thought he heard him say something. I'm like, yo, this shit is wild. Then he gets killed Micro without saying no word.
He always picks up on the worst parts of a comic book. How is that?
He picks up on the worst parts of life. What are you talking about?
Man,
that's what he's into.
I wanted to read that one.
Yeah, now I want to read it. That sounds intriguing.
Word.
Tell me more.
I mean, boom, you go read that shit, bro. It's fucking dope.
I like the first. Yeah. Speaking of Punisher, man, I just like the first 12 issues of Punisher. Wallace Portracio was doing the art. I don't know who was writing. I got to look back at it. But just the first 12 issues of the original run of Punisher, you know, that was like some of the first books I was picking up. He infiltrated a school. Like that's when he first met Micro, and they were building a bunch of shit. I mean, he was rugged in that shit, man. That. And then I just, speaking of rereads, I just reread The Man Without Fear, the Frank Miller Daredevil joint. Those 5 books, those were dope. I love that shit.
Frank Miller Daredevil, Born Again, Reborn, that one. Like read that.
Born Again, I got that in the basement.
Fucking so good. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. Frank Miller's, he's a gem, man. Frank Miller's one of them ones, man. Frank Miller is a pillar. Bill Sikowitz, John Romita Jr. I love his art, but I got to shout out obviously John Romita for the OG-ness of him.
Alan Moore.
Man. Alan Moore.
Yeah. Fun fact about Alan Moore.
Alan Moore, crazy.
The dude that makes most of my beats is from the same city Alan Moore is from. So it's dope? Like a dark, magical type of sound. You know what I'm saying? Even though they don't look alike, but Northampton like is a weird place.
I can imagine, man.
Yeah. So so meeting him, and that's our connection really right there, is the comic books in that place. You know what I'm saying? Like Northampton, like Yeah, he wrote easily 2 of my favorite shits and 2 of my favorite adaptations to movies. Viva Vendetta. I love that movie.
Yep.
Yeah,
I liked it too. People were hating on the movie, but I liked it. The comic book was great too.
Yeah. What's the other? The Watchmen.
Watchmen, yeah.
I liked it.
They fucked it up.
I thought it was all right.
Fucked it up a little bit.
I thought it was cool for being a movie. It was all right.
I mean, look how long that comic book is, though, and then translating that into a movie and trying to get all of that stuff into it, it's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah, they could have did it.
No,
Not well.
I think they did as good as they could. It wasn't that bad.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was.
It used to be 12 hours long.
Well, that's what you got these series for now. You know, you can do the 12 episode series.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about The Boys? What do you think about The Boys?
I lost interest after a while. It just started to get a little bit too much like shock value for me. I was just like,
it's kind of fucked up.
After about like 3 seasons or so, I was just like, all right, man, this is too bad. I just lost interest, you know.
Yeah,
how many
they fucked
dicks
it
do
up
I gotta
too.
see on TV?
Yeah, yo, why the man crawling around a dude's bumhole, yo? That shit was wild, man.
Yeah, that was around the time where I was like, all right, this is just
too much.
He said that's where I'm
the octopus was a little much for me.
Oh yeah, he smashed an octopus. He tried to let her. Oh, he killed her. I think. Anyway, boom. Yeah, I like it. But I knew it was gonna be fucked up the first 3-4 minutes of it. Yeah, it's pretty. So if y'all ain't watched The Boys, prepare yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck it. Hey man, fuck all that, man. Shit. Full circle. Yep. You see, the darkness falls upon Luke. That's a great transition. Man, I want to bring it back to the music a little bit more because crazy enough, this is a podcast where we talk about music sometimes. Like just being a label boss now. And really building your whole machine and mechanism from the ground up. What do you prefer more? Do you enjoy, do you get any thrills from doing the business part now, like finding new methods of, cutting corners and shipping and et cetera, all that type of stuff? Or do you really like the creative process more? Do you like working with artists more? Like, what are you into? Like, what drives you these days?
Oh, creative process always, man. I'm super. You can tell by my label. Like, I'm all about the creativity, man. Like, every side of it. You know what I mean? And I notice I've really tried to get into the details, like, of everything. Like, anytime I half-ass some shit, and you just be like, oh fuck, like. So what I've noticed is you gotta put in the work, even to the small details. You know, you can't like over little things. Because the fans have gotten super savvy, like the vinyl buying community, because there's so much out there.
Yes,
they're smart. They'll know what's going to sell out. They'll know what they want, what they like, what they don't like. You know what I mean? Like some of these cats will be like, I'm gonna wait. That's just not selling out. I'm gonna wait it out until it goes on sale. Like. You know what I mean? So it's like you really have to be picky and choosy about what you put out because you want that shit to sell out. You know what I mean? You don't want to be sitting on fucking products. So it's gotten difficult because there's so much being released and people have just gotten people have bought a lot of vinyl since like 2018. Like there's cats that's just OD'd on it, so they're really like picky about what they buy now. They're not just you can't just drop. Like, I swear, like, up till about, like, first quarter of 2021, like, almost anything I dropped would just sell out. Now, it's kind of, like, hit and miss, you know what I mean? So, you really gotta be choosy, right? And with me, it's like, I want to put out things that I like, too, so I'm not just gonna, like, do stuff solely on, is it gonna sell out? It's more like, do I like this, and do I think there's enough fans that will buy this? Like the combination of it, right? So
yes,
and I like to work with kind of like lesser known artists because I find their expectations are more humble and they're more grateful. Like a lot of times, it's tough working with more established cats because they want to aim for their ceiling of what the best record they ever did, and sometimes like markets change. You know what I mean? Like. Cats that were selling 1,000 might not even be able to sell 500 now. You know what I mean? Because it's just games change. You know what I mean? It's like the vinyl gold rush is not as crazy it once was. There's still artists that can, you know what I mean? But it's almost like a select few at the top that can move those units, you know what I mean? So, and it's tough too, because a lot of those guys drop often, you know what I mean? Like Alchemist, he's dropping steadily, and you know what I mean? You competed against big dogs, you know, like the Rock Marcy's, the Mock Homies, the West Side Guns, you know what I mean? Like anybody who's it's like you know what I mean? I've kind of shifted lanes a little bit. I'm not doing quite as much of the street stuff. It's more like I'm doing more of the kind of like underground abstract art kind of stuff.
Yeah.
More almost like the backwoods type lane, like somewhere in between the street and the backwoods type stuff. So it's kind of just developed my own lane with a lot of the cats that have been featured on the latest Midnight Suns album. You know what I mean? Like you see
shout out Zilla Rocca, man.
Zilla Rocca, man. Like me and him have kind of like he's got his own label, I've got mine. So like when we combined, we've got a network of artists that are on our labels that we can showcase, and it's really been good. You know what I mean? Midnight Suns, Money Has No Owners, the album dropped this year, and I'm super proud of it. Just got a crazy line.
She looks beautiful. The packaging, pause, is that you always got dope packaging. Matter of fact, you the first person I saw put out like a Nintendo cartridge CD. You know what I'm saying? Now I see other people put the shit out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, like fucking, we did the Nintendo controller, like the Kurious Nintendo. It was like the tape looked like a Nintendo controller and shit. So, yeah, man, you got to get creative, man. Like shit's boring if you don't, you know. And you want people to do, you want people to buy shit. You got to put some creativity into it. We did with Chris Crack. We did the Washed Rappers Ain't Legends. We did an actual bar of soap, and the cassette tape looked like a bar of soap.
No soap,
like. You know what I mean? It was like a cool little custom bar of soap that said "Washed Rappers" on the soap. So it's hilarious.
That's
dope.
Like,
nobody else is doing that kind of shit.
Shout out Chris Crack.
Yeah, Chris Cracks. Fuck, man, what a crazy dude, man. He's so prolific and so creative. And shout out to him. He's
Chicago, baby.
I put out like 10 of his albums. He's like the main dude on my label. So shout out to him.
Indeed. Yeah, and I noticed that you transitioned to like more. I don't know. I mean, more thoughtful rap. I think a lot of people can motherfucking.
That's a great way to say it.
Talk. Yeah, because like, anybody could get on here and murder like 100 motherfucking people. You know what I'm saying? And sell 100 things of crack and like say a whole bunch of punchlines. Yeah, I can do that all day. But like, I really. It's something else when you play with that English language. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like to play with it. Pause.
Yeah, for sure. That even goes back to Doom. He was like the master of playing with the human language. He was like a word master, wordsmith with like the weird words and shit. And so I definitely like that. And guys who are rapping about different type of stuff, you know, real life stuff, like for the average person who's not fucking killing people all day. But you know, I like the street stuff, but it definitely gets to the point where's the people that are doing like the best street shit and the creative shit, it gets fewer and fewer. You know what I mean? Like. Stove God Cooks, he's a guy who's made like crack and drug dealer raps unique again. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while, somebody comes and reinvents the style and makes it fresh. You know what I mean? Like, so there's certain cats like that, but sometimes I get burnt out on any subgenre of hip hop. I get burnt out on. You know, you listen to too much of the same shit and too many people doing the same styles, you start to get bored with it. So yeah, right now I'm just on this other shit with Zilla Rocca and all these guys. I just put out also Jesse the Tree. This guy's real creative. He's definitely on some like creative writing, fucking real life shit. So
nice. What's up, man? Also all that gangster shit, even though I love it. I've been loving it since a child. You know what I'm saying? It wears on your soul sometimes. So you have to flip and put on like some Diana Ross or some Donna Summer or some fucking Guapole or something else. Even like the metal shit I listen to. If I listen to too much of it, I gotta go.
Of course.
Listen to something soul. I gotta go some put gospel. On DC Talk.
DC Talk.
I ain't don't DC Talk.
God, that should never be. That should never be a fix for anything.
Yeah, that's never an option, Lukey. What the fuck are you talking about?
DC Talk. My dad's a pastor, man. I saw him a concert with Billy Graham. Rest in peace, Billy Graham. I think he did.
That doesn't mean you're right.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to say DC Talk. Anyway, boom. Yeah. But yeah. But it's
hey man, fuck DC Talk, man.
You got to listen to different shit. You got to have different influences.
That's true.
You can't be 100% listening to the same thing always. You know what I mean?
So, yeah. Hey, I don't want us to overlook the fact that you work with Kurious, man. Like, I mean, Kurious is a legend. You know, he's a dude that is underground, not only underground, but just he's a dude who came from the era when you really had to be out here representing and doing your thing. And he was one of those dudes on the front line. How did that relationship come about?
That one was shout out to my man Jordan. Jordan was working on executive producing Planet Asia album at the time, and
nice.
I had done some beats on that album. My bro Rodata, who produced the whole Big Turks album, he done some beats, and some other cats, had done some beats for the Planet Asia, and he got Kurious to do a guest verse for Planet Asia at that time, and he played it for me way before the album came out. I was like, holy shit, man. Like, I forgot about Kurious, and I didn't even know he was still active, and I didn't know if he still had it. Some of those vets, like, fall off. No disrespect,
right.
But, like, Kurious still had it, and I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, just killing it. So we reached out to him, and we talked a bit about just doing a record, and this was a few months before anyone found out Doom had passed away, and he was close with Doom, and so when, like, around the time the news broke, we were in the discussions of like doing that album with him. So R.I.P. to Doom, and that whole album that we put out. If you listen to it, there's a lot of like dedications and inspiration to Doom on that. So it's kind of like a Doom tribute project. But
nice.
True indeed.
I'm super happy. Anytime you can like help the veterans and kind of like bring them back out when it makes sense, it's to do, and it's just, carrying on tradition and paying tribute to somebody who was an OG from the 90s who fucking
exactly
still got it, and he deserved to have more albums out. It was crazy they didn't put that much albums out. I think like sometimes some of those major cats that had major label deals back in the day, transitioning to the independent can be tough, you know what I mean?
So,
that's what I think we've seen a lot of in this new glorious renaissance. There are some people that have been able to resurrect Kurious, Cormega, for example, another dude who, like, these are people who never stopped rhyming. Ransom's a younger dude as far as we talking about the school that Kurious comes from. Like, these are people that never stopped rhyming. They just maybe had the spotlight that they had take away from them. You know what I mean? Oh, R.I.P. Casual, while we talking about this type of stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, it's just.
You mean Saphir, right?
Oh, Saphir, excuse me. Yo, yeah, Cash, my bad, Casual. Yeah, R.I.P. Saphir. Yeah, but that's another example of what I'm talking about. No, man, we ain't killing none of them. But I mean, when you get into this rhyming thing, when you get into this hip hop thing, this age limit, this age ceiling is an artificial thing, and it affects people's minds. Like, if you don't ever lose the sharpness of your blade, it don't matter how old you are. You can come out and you can demonstrate and you can get busy. Point blank, period. It don't matter who you are. You can still represent. Fuck all that old head talk that people gonna talk about, because it means nothing. You're only an old head if you let that infection into your brain. You know what I'm saying? If you start feeling like you're detached, if you start feeling like, oh, I don't know what these young people are, or if you start stratifying yourself and doing all that, and not evolving your style, because everybody grows wiser, everybody grows up, but there's no need to step away or to try to condemn people for, just growing and living long. I'm not hating on you for having birthdays.
Spit
your rhymes. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Lukey.
It's definitely like, there's some cats that it sucks when like an old head that like you like an old artist that has kind of lost it, because like you have to stay sharp. That's the thing is,
absolutely.
If you're old and you put out a whack album, that's on you. Like, you gotta fucking stay sharp. And sometimes, like, the rappers turn actors or guys that went to be businessmen for too long and stayed away from the game too long, try to hop back in with an album. You can tell, you know what I mean? You can tell, like, you haven't been rapping like this whole time, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You can tell.
What do you think about that new LL?
Really about that. I mean, he still got it. I didn't love the album, but it wasn't bad or anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good example. Yeah, it definitely was not bad at all. I really liked it. It's not in my full rotation, but I liked it, and I was very happy that he did it and that he decided to put the effort into doing it. I mean, I think that was the most important part of it, was that he actually felt like, yo, no, I got the passion to rhyme again. I really want to I really want to do this. And Q-Tip laced him. Laced him.
Some of them beats wasn't like LL Cool J beats to me, though. Yeah, some of them beats were good, but they weren't LL Cool J beats to me. But that being said, that being said, let's do another top 5. Ding, ding, ding. Name 5 guys that you would like to resurrect. You know what I'm saying? From
that's a good one,
from their dead career. No, I know one that I would like to you to work with. I think it's very achievable if you enjoyed and see hit this guy up. But I think that maybe his pen, he ain't as sharp as he used to be. Cool G Rap.
Oh, no, don't you ever diss Cool G Rap, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't be rapping like that. He don't be rapping like that no more.
That's crazy.
He still rap.
He still got it.
I think he would be able to. Yeah. I don't think he'd have any dullness on his blade.
He just made an album with 38 Special like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
That was like 5 years ago.
Definitely
was 5 years ago?
That's that long.
Another Cool G Rap? Damn.
I mean, we're almost in 2025.
He did a solo Cool G Rap album that was pretty good too. Like,
really?
It was solid, you know.
Oh yeah. So he's not resurrected material. He's already there. So boom. Yeah.
No, the thing is, like, I don't want to disrespect any of the old cats by saying I'm resurrecting shit, because you know what I mean. Like, you know.
How about you want to work with? How about you just like just work with them? How about that?
I honestly would rather just work with new artists, because a lot of times with the old guys, like it's difficult because they're from a different time, different things going on. A lot of times money is a major issue. You know what I mean? Like you know, they're used to a different pay scale from back in the day. But you know, I'd love to do something with Cool Keith, but he's just not rapping the way that I want him to rap, like he used to rap. Like he's still dope, but I heard him on that new project,
Stress Eater.
There's this one track at the beginning of the album, and it was like, oh shit, like he's back, like. And then I listen to the rest of the album, and it's like,
it's not like that.
It is, you know, it's all right. It's all right, you know what I mean? But like, I want I want to work with cats in their prime, you know, like if I could go back in time, work with Cool Keith from like fucking late
the Octagon,
2000s, all that shit, you know what I mean? Like
Black Elvis,
2001, all that shit. He was fucking
Black Elvis's favorite.
But that's the thing is, you know, you kind of like, I want to work with new cats, you know, like people that that are on my level, that are kind of on the come up, you know, like I don't want to try to latch on to like somebody who's famous, you know what I mean? Like I see a lot of cats paying to do project cats that don't even really respect them, and then you can hear it in the quality, you know. You got to have cats that are hungry, that actually have that mutual respect. Mm-hmm. That means a lot to me, is mutual respect at this point. It's like you can pay for all the guest verses you want, but if the cats aren't excited to be on your album or don't want to do an album, what's the point, right? So
all right, well, let's speak this into existence then. Talk about maybe 5 artists that you would want to work with that are coming up.
Who you got your eye on?
I'm already mostly working with the cats I want to work with, you know what I mean?
That's what's up.
So it doesn't even matter. I want to do like a full album with Jesse the Tree and Sleeping Dogs. I still want to do a fully produced Chris Crack album. I've done beats for him here and there on certain albums, where I might get a couple tracks on certain albums, but I still want to do the full album. And I'd love to work with Rock Marcy, obviously. I mean, he's like the illest. I mean, I want to get to that point where like he's like reaching out to me though. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I have to get to that level of greatness to be able to work with somebody like him. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So he's right there at the top of the list. You know, Makami too. He'd be super real to do an album with.
Yeah, those are my two favorites.
Bruiser Wolf would be dope to work with.
That dude's crazy.
Yeah, I like his style. Bruiser's crazy. Billy Woods, do a full album with Billy Woods.
That'd be cool.
Okay.
Because he's just one of the illest though, man. Like he was on the first Midnight Suns project, and he killed it, man. He's one of the best like lyricists out there.
Yeah.
Fucking R.I.P. to Ka. It would have been amazing to work with him, but he's kind of like, you know, I respect how he would kind of like keep it just closed circle to just him and his people, and I liked how he would, you know, he had his day job, and he would just put out the one album a year. You know what I mean? Like he was really about his business. You know what I mean? Like I respected R.I.P. to Ka. I love that album.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, such a good album. Like that beautiful joint.
Steve Next to Jesus. Yeah. I said this on another podcast, actually, that album is probably the highest quality album, like the best album that came out this year. It was hard for me to listen more than 3 times because it's such an emotional album. And every time I listen to it, it puts me in a really dark kind of headspace. And so for me, when I'm looking at like albums of the year and who my contenders are, it's that replay value. It's how many times am I, you know, I'm still listening to certain albums that were released in March. And so, you know, for me, I couldn't put it as my number one, even though I don't know that there was a better record made this year, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. I would still put it at number one, but it is hard. I agree. It's hard to listen to. I mean, you have to be kind of
especially after.
Yeah, especially after. I mean, I listened to it a lot.
Time hits different, bro.
But it was like a small window of like about 3 weeks or so before.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was like, it's definitely hard to listen to for sure. You listen to it and you think like, when he's rapping, it's like he knew, like he must have known like he was going to die, or at least
there was a lot of foreshadowing in that.
It was like that, like he knew, and it's sad, but it's also kind of like inspiring, knowing like, wow, like this guy, like to the end, was making some of the just best art, like from the heart, true like real life shit. So
yeah,
to him.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know we got to get off here, but it's crazy. Like the news channels even praised this man on the news. Like the news was reporting the death of Ka, and it was like amazing to me. It was amazing. Brooklyn's finest. You know what I'm saying?
Ka. I think Ka exemplified what any MC, any artist really would want to be remembered for. You know, for really taking their craft seriously and leaving behind a legacy and an impact on people. You know what I mean? Like you said, I mean, we can't play The Thief Next to Jesus without having those thoughts of like, damn, like, you know, 3 weeks after this came out, the man was gone, you know, like, you know, like I just said a second ago. I mean, when I hear Borrowed Time, you know, it's like, it's scary, it's spooky, but you know, it's such a dope project. But yeah, man, I mean, R.I.P. Ka, remembered in perfection, Ka. I mean, yeah, he's the best of us. He's one of the best of us, man. He's always going to be remembered that way.
Yes.
Yeah. No Christmas wish list. All we have is Santa's Claus. I was like, oh shit, I get it. Santa's Claus. Yeah. That was on Marksman, I believe, on Mark Marciano.
Yeah. His wordplay was very, very fine tuned. He's a great MC. Great MC.
True indeed. Yeah, true indeed. Prune Jack, what else we got, bro? What we got here, bro?
Hey man, I've said it before. I would say it again, man. Like thank you for coming on and kicking it with us. I don't want anybody to not recognize that you were right there, collaborating and giving a spotlight to people early on in this renaissance. And not only that, just you rode the wave and started the craze of that limited edition vinyl, that vinyl scarcity, that CD scarcity. And I think it's dope that you can't get a hold of some of that product anymore, man. The Infinity Gems are really like the Infinity Gems. The Infinity Stone project, you can't find them. So yeah, man. I mean, you should be proud of that. Shout out Vancouver for making a real one, man. Salute to you. And Merry Christmas. And if you celebrate, if not, Happy Kwanzaa or whatever else, man. Toast. Here's to
Hanukkah,
you. Hanukkah,
Festivus for the rest of us.
Lahaim,
Yeah.
whatever. Festivus, all of that. Thanks
Yeah.
for being here.
Yeah, but what's next? What we got coming up next? What we got coming out next?
First and foremost, appreciate you guys for having me on, man, and appreciate the love and recognition, man. Like I love the recognition. A lot of cats don't want to fucking give you the fucking flowers, you know what I mean, while you're alive. So appreciate that. I fucking dedicated my life to this hip hop shit, and I always want to put the spotlight on people. So when I get those props, I appreciate them. But as far as what's next, I've got a Chong Wizard album, like a compilation of just me producing with various artists. I'm working on that right now. It should come out next year. Crazy lineup of cats you'll probably know that I've worked with before, and some new cats that I haven't worked with before, and just, like I do crazy combinations, collabos where it's like, oh, these guys have never been on the same track before, so trying to get
I trust your ear. I know it's gonna be crazy.
And then you guys wouldn't believe this. The craziest thing that just happened to me like yesterday was I sent this cat, I'm not going to say who it is, I sent this rapper like a beat pack like 2 months ago. Heard nothing. Didn't hear shit from him. Yesterday he's like, yo, I did an album on your beats, like a full album. And I was just dope. I was just like, what the fuck? Like,
he didn't say nothing?
Awesome. Like, and like, so like, I was worried like about the beats because like a couple of the beats in the pack had been used and picked, but he's like, let me, and then like a day, I'm like, send them to me or whatever, give him my email. And then a day later, he's like, what's your phone number? I'm going to text you these tracks. And I was like, what the fuck? Like text? All right. I texted me that like the 7 tracks that he's got done so far today, and they're just fucking amazing. So I'm excited. It was a surprise for me. So it's like a surprise album, like somebody I've never worked with before. I'm excited. So you're getting at very least 2 fully produced Chong Wizard albums next year, very least.
Nice. Okay.
That's what's up.
Well, the man text you the songs after not hearing from him for 2 months.
Yeah. And I didn't know there was no real plan. Like when I sent him the beats, I was like, yeah, maybe we can get a song in or something. Maybe one for your album, maybe one for mine or something like that. There was no
He was just like, I'm taking this whole pack.
No communication.
Like, oh yeah, this is dope. Good luck.
Just like, I like this cat, let's see if we can get something going. And then boom. So it was like a nice surprise. Like that never happens. And usually people would be mad about the lack of communication, but I was just like, oh shit, man, I'm happy. Like when you have beats, like a lot of times when you have beats sitting for so long, you think like, is this beat not dope or whatever? And then it gets passed over, and then finally somebody with the right style gets on it, and you're like, oh shit, like you're excited again. You're like, oh man, like I knew, we make the beat, it's dope. But when it gets passed over for so long, you start to question that. But when you finally get people on them, you're like, I was telling him like, this is like an early Christmas present for me. Like, fuck, like I did not expect this, and I'm happy because I love making music, you know what I mean? So it feels good hearing people on your beats, you know what I mean? So
definitely
when he transforms it into something else sometimes, like
for sure.
It's like listening to them again, you know what I'm saying? Our voices are instruments, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, like I fucks with it, man. I'm anxious to hear that shit, man. I'm just anxious to see the MC that didn't communicate to you too much. That is wild, man.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
That is a wild story. Word.
He's been around, but he's not that active. But like he was like a blog era cat, so that's the only hint I'm gonna give. So
okay, that's cool. AKA the era that Lukey says that nobody knew what the fuck was going on anymore.
And man, we did it because they weren't selling CDs, they weren't selling tapes, they wasn't selling vinyl. And we just caught on in like 2016, 15.
False.
We caught, man,
false.
This
Lukey.
It was tough, man. Like I said, I was tapped out during that era because I didn't know what the fuck to do because the mixtape era.
I told you
so many CDs, and then I was like, I was depressed because I was like, okay, nobody's buying shit anymore. Like I don't even know where to release the shit. This was before like Spotify was really a thing, and like I didn't, streaming. I didn't know anything about that shit, so it was just like you know, I'm glad that this renaissance happened. It fucking brought me back to life. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, sir.
It invigorated me. So
definitely.
Indeed. Well, we had a whole episode about the whole dead zone of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there were people active still.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a brand new way.
Active, you know what I mean? I just wasn't as tapped in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now like there's people everywhere, man. But thank you so very much for coming on the show today. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, your efforts are noticed. And by more than just us. You know what I'm saying? Word. Boom. You there. You in there. Like swimwear. You know what I mean? Vancouver in the building. You know what I'm saying? Word. We'll see y'all motherfuckers next week. Issue 173. The year's almost over. Yeah.
That's right. It's Christmas Eve.
Oh, it's Christmas Eve?
It's Christmas motherfucking Eve, man.
Let me go set this Bluey shit up for my daughter. Bluey. Yeah, go get the record.
There you go. Midnight Suns.
Money has no owners. Midnight Suns, buy that shit.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
I think there's only 8. I think there's 8 copies left. So I mean,
oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So may the odds be in your favor.
Yes.
Merry Christmas. And to everyone. Oh, hey, when you say that shit? God bless you. Fuck. Jesus. Word.